Hello and welcome to Italian Serie A Matchday 22. I guess, Leo Bachanian, this is a two-horse race after the great win of Napoli in Bergamo, and this week we have Napoli-Juve.
Yes, absolutely. Hello, Edu. Napoli, what a win against Atalanta. Inter, as always, doing their job, and it's looking like increasingly, yes, a race of two horses, because now the Bergamo team, Gianpiero Gasperini's Atalanta, is 7 points behind, so it's looking like Napoli or Inter this season.
Exactly, Napoli 1.67 to win the Scudetto, Inter, and Napoli 3, in case you want to place these bets. Well, guys, of course, as always, tell me your tips in the comment section and subscribe to our channel. Let's try to keep growing little by little our Oddspedia channel. And now let's go on with the show. First game on Friday, Torino, Cagliari. Torino, mid-table, as always, is kind of a safe bet, going for a draw. For Torino, as we mentioned in the previous week, another draw against Fiorentina. 4 consecutive draws. It's only 1 win in the last 12. Much more important, this game for Cagliari, 2 points away from the bottom 3, Leo, but in great form. In Davide Nicola we trust, and is 7 points out of the last 9 to stay out of the relegation spots.
Absolutely, wins against Monza and Lecce on the last weekend, and also that drawing against Milan in San Siro was a massive weekend for them, because they jumped also 4 places in the table, although just 2 points above the relegation zone. But even more impressive is the fact that they won it from behind. They were like 1-0 down at the break. In the previous 4 games, Cagliari scored 4 goals, and now they scored last weekend 4 goals against Lecce in 45 minutes. The substitutions at the break also work amazingly, because Gianluca Gaetano came 9 minutes into the second half and equalized with a very timely first goal of the season for him. 5 minutes after, also Sebastiano Luperto with his first goal of the season. The center back made it 2-1. Ravsna Marin, another substitution, created that 2-1. And of course, then they took complete advantage of Lecce being reduced to 10 men, because Ante Rebic saw a red card. And in the final 10 minutes, they scored another 2 goals, one from Sortea, who scored his second consecutive goal. He scored against Milan in San Siro, and now against Lecce. 5 overall in the season for him, for this very good midfielder. Away from home is 5 defeats in the last 8 anyway for Cagliari, but traveling to Turin, they will face this Granata, as you mentioned, at the back of 4 consecutive draws, and they have won only 1 of the last 8 games at home, with 4 defeats. Last match day 1-1 with Fiorentina in Firenze. They are on the verge of completing Torino the signing of Cesare Casadei from Chelsea. It's strange, because they need goals. They are missing Duban Zapata, so I don't know why they are like trying to get a central midfielder. My take, Edu, here, yes, it seems that Torino is becoming a safe haven for draws. I'm gonna go for goals market, but the goals under, especially with Torino and especially at home, goals under 2.5, odds of 1.65.
Okay, as always, take a look at the draw. 3.3 in this case. In the north of Italy, Como, Atalanta, fantastic season for Cesc Fabregas and his Como. Now is 3 points away from relegation. They thrashed Udinese. 𝐬𝐭, former Betis player, is making an impact. Leo, already 2 goals in the Serie A. Also, Nico Paz is still scoring, and in 2025 is only 1 defeat. So I don't expect a comfortable game for Atalanta. As we mentioned at the beginning, their title hopes are over, but at least they were able to score plenty of goals in the Champions League, and we saw Retegui also scoring a beautiful goal against Napoli.
Yes, and he's getting back, it seems, slowly to the Matteo Retegui we saw at the beginning of the season, because he scored as well against Napoli. If Cagliari's win against Lecce was massive. What you say about 𝐿𝐭𝐴𝐲's one? As you say, thrashing 4-1 Udinese, 10 points from the last 18 for 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐜 team. The best performance of the season to get to 22 points. Asane Diao, it seems to me, Edu, and to everyone, that he didn't have any time, or he didn't need any time to adapt. 2 consecutive goals from him. The last one against Udinese to put 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐲 ahead 1-0 after only 5 minutes. He proved his versatility that we spoke when he first arrived to 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐲, one of the shows, because he started as a winger, and when then Patrick Cutrone was subbed, he started to play as a number 9, and Fabregas spoke very nice about what he can do as a number 9. Nico Pass coming on the second half because he's still recovering from that ankle injury he suffered with Lazio, scoring at the end of the game. So everything, it seems to me, that is working for 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐲 now. In the transfer market, they are doing very well. Diao, 𝐾𝐿𝐴, who started the game against Udinese, and now it seems that they are going for Eric Garcia from Barcelona. So everything is good at the moment for them. It's not going to be easy for 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐲, for Fabregas. I'm talking about Eric Garcia and strengthening their defense. Well, this is a massive test now with Atalanta. This Atalanta is hurt after 4 Serie A match days without a win. That's why to have won a 5-0 against Sturmgrass in the Champions League is great for them, because they start to get some good feelings back. They're 7 points behind Antonio Conte's team. So but they were going to have, at least, Edu, I'm agreeing with you, they're out of the discussion in terms of the title race, but they're going to be playing before what's going to happen between Napoli and Juventus, so there is a chance of them cutting some points. I said Retegui 14 goals this Serie A season with the ones he added against Napoli, plus 3 more in Serie A. The last 2 matches have been draws away from home for Atalanta, Lazio and Udinese. The odds are very good for 𝐻2, but I'm going goals markets here. It is goals over, of course, in this one with 𝐬𝐴𝐲 and Atalanta, but goals over 2.5 is massively high, I would say, 1.81, and even a combination of both teams to score yes and goals over 2.5 is 3.1, but I'm staying with that one. Goals over 2.5, 1.81.
Okay, well, great odds to back Atalanta, but it's a tricky game, as you well analyzed. And the big game of this weekend is in the Maradona, Napoli Juventus, of course. Napoli, great win in Bergamo. They celebrated it as a title with Lukaku scoring the winner with Politano, also one of the Scudetto winners remaining in the squad, also scoring is 6 consecutive wins for Napoli, and now is the moment of truth, I guess, to believe, Leo, because they have this game against Juve, and then they have Roma and Lazio, so the schedule is very tough for Conte's men, but they have also a very good record against Juventus. Last win for Juve in Napoli was in 2019, so a while ago, and we know these Juve are still without a defeat, Leo, in the Serie A. Yep. But they keep drawing and drawing also in the Champions League. Let's see if that win against Milan can boost them in the Serie A.
We will see, and but again, not some inconsistency as the whole season for them. I absolutely agree with you that this is a moment of truth for Napoli, and I had that one on my note because it was something to say, absolutely, because after Juventus, they come from Atalanta, Juventus, Roma, Lazio, and then in February is Inter as well. So I think I said in one of the shows that by maybe in middle of February we're going to really know what's going to happen with the Scudetto race, because if Napoli continues up to that game with Inter to collect the amount of points they're having, well, we're going to have still by the middle of February a title race. Otherwise, it's going to be all Inter, I think. And but that's so far so good for them. 50 points out of 63 in play. It's just amazing. Lukaku scoring his most important goal since his arrival. He has 8 this season. He has 17 more games to reach the heights of the challenge that's set by Antonio Conte to make it 20 plus goals this season. And if he can produce that, then we are talking about some something very serious because that is why Conte is pushing him, because he scored 23 and 24 goals in successive seasons for Inter. Let's not forget that the 3-0 that Atalanta took in the Diego Armando Maradona was less than 2.5 months ago. So it shows the improvement of Napoli's team from there to till now. Is becoming Conte's team. You mentioned Politano as one of the part of the team that won the Scudetto 2 years ago. The departure of Kim, Osimhen, Zielinski, Kvaratskhelia is showing that this is Conte's team. The most important player so far this season, I believe, is Scott McTominay, and it was someone who Antonio Conte pushed a lot to sign. And I was thinking, I remember in the summer, really, why he's pushing so much for McTominay? And look how well it worked. Someone 𝐻𝐸 is having a great season as well. Lobotka, Anguissa, and Scott McTominay is a great midfield that he's having a contest so far. And Juve, we will see, having maybe the best game of the season with Milan. Last weekend, they dominated from the halfway during the first half till the end of the game. They scored 2 and they could have been even more. They were electric at the counter-attack. A good combination, complementary combination in midfield with Locatelli and Khéphren Thuram. And then the front four played well with Yildiz and Bangula, Koop Meiners and Nico Gonzalez again as false nine, all in good shape. We will see who is going to prevail in the clash of defenses. In Turin was 0-0. Napoli 14 goals conceded only this season. Juventus 17 goals conceded. I expect a cagey game. We could have definitely a draw here as well. If we have Juventus involved, that is also very likely. But with this Napoli and also scoring late goals, I wouldn't go for a draw full match. But first half draw, odds of 2.02. That's my take, Edu.
Great game. Let me know in the comments who are you backing. Juventus 2 points away from Lazio at the moment, trying to fight and to get to the next Champions League. And on Saturday we have Empoli, Bologna. Empoli now only 1 point away from the bottom three. Lost to Inter, is only 1 point in the last 6 Serie A games. Whereas Bologna are very close to the European spots. They got themselves the first Champions League win this weekend against Dortmund, and also the record in Serie A is very good recently.
Absolutely, Edu. And look, if you look how Bologna has been doing since the start of December, you will find first of all, it's going to be difficult to understand how they lost at home against Verona before the turn of the year, because since the start of December, we're going to find a draw away with Juventus, which they were winning 2-0, a goalless draw with Benfica, who almost defeated Barcelona now 2 days ago. Win against Fiore at home and Torino away. 2-2 with Roma in a game that Roma equalized in the 98th minute. Another 2-2 with Inter in San Siro. And the most famous win of all with Dortmund. It's something to contemplate and applaud, absolutely. Last weekend, no problems to defeat Monza 3-1 clearly at home. They are 7th with 33 points and a game in hand, so they could apply pressure in the coming weeks to see if they can, for a second season in a row, made it to the top 4. Santi Castro scored his 6th goal of the season against Monza. Benjamin Dominguez gave an assist, and he has contributed already to 5 goals with in his first 9 games for Bologna, 2 goals and 3 assists. He's one for the future. I'm gonna keep telling you that Benjamin Dominguez is a good player. Probably he won't last too long in Bologna, maybe one more season, but I can't see him staying longer there in Serie A, or at least in Bologna. Away from home is 1 defeat in the last 6 for Bologna with 3 wins. They scored a good amount on the road, 17 times in 10 games, but they have conceded also the same tally. This said, Empoli should not be the one at the moment to crash Bologna's party. If anything could crash Bologna, I would say is they become a little bit overconfident, traveling to face this Empoli side that lost 5 of the last 6. With Inter in San Siro, they lasted only 50 minutes after Lautaro scored. That was game over for Empoli. At home is 3 consecutive defeats for them, and the odds for Bologna are great, to be honest. So I'm going that route. Bologna to win 2.13.
And the games on Sunday, we start in San Siro, Milan, Parma. Milan good in Europe, very good. They are going to qualify for the top 8 in Serie A. Still to find consistency. We spoke about the game lost in the Juventus stadium. So the record in Serie A for Conceição is 1 win in 3 games at the moment. They are super favorites, Leo. To beat Parma, I guess, was a bit disappointing. The draw against Venezia, they are only 1 point above relegation. It's very tough this season to stay in Serie A. We see another competitions like the Premier League, for instance, that no teams get points in the bottom half or in the bottom 4 in the case of the Premier League. But in Italy, Leo, it's very hard to stay in the top flight.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a massive competition in that relegation battle, something that we don't see often in other leagues. And comparing with the Premier League, is a world ahead the Serie A in terms of entertainment. Looking at the bottom of the table, I mean, I said it on with Elaine and with you on the Champions League show that for me Milan was, in my view, very very poor against Juventus. Yes, some chances to score in the first half, but other than that, they were all over the place defensively. They are 8 points behind the top 4 with the game in hand, but that game in hand is against Bologna, so there is nothing secure there for Milan. They are moving in the transfer market. We will see if the arrival of Kyle Walker finally materialize these days. I know the performance of Walker this season is far from the man who Vinicius labeled once as the best defender he had to play against. But even, to be honest, even Kyle Walker with 2 left foot, Edu is better, or is an upgrade at Emerson Royal on that right back. By the way, Emerson Royal almost injured Juric on training. I don't know if you have seen that clip on social media. But even having this Milan being poor against Juventus, massively inconsistent this season with Parma, everything should be all right for them. They are missing Pulisic a lot every time he's injured. They said Morata couldn't play with Juventus because he was suspended, but we expect him to be back. And if they can bring Santiago Jimenez from Feyenoord, that would be a massive one for Milan. Although yesterday Jimenez scored twice, I think, against Bayern Munich, and he was kissing his badge and doing the sign of "I'm staying." So we will see. At home, it's just 1 defeat all season for Milan, 6 goals conceded at home, same as Napoli. Parma won't be, I think, the one inflicting the second defeat, even if the Sergio Conceição, as I said, are not resembling a team with an identity. They are arriving after a 1-1 draw at home with Venezia, 5 defeats in the last 10 games for Parma. So for me here is all Milan to win plus goals over 2.5, odds of 1.87, Edu.
Next game in Udine, in Friuli, Udinese, Roma. Roma looking for the first away win of the season. Yeah. Let's see if they can get it this week, because they are also playing away in the Europa League, and now in Serie A. They are in the best moment of the season with Ranieri finding the balance, getting wins at home, undefeated in the last 5, getting draws away against Bologna and Milan. Leo, but it's time to win, and Udine could be the good point because they are coming from a heavy defeat in Como, 3 consecutive draws before that, so they are not in good form.
Absolutely, and they're winless in the last 4 with 3 defeats and 1 draw. They were very poor at the lake. Udinese, no intensity for most of the game, and solid red card in the second half is not an excuse for them, I believe. Yes, they managed to make it to shorten the distance 2-1 at some point in the second half, but they never threatened to equalize. And always I had the feeling that Como was the likeliest of the two to score again, and they have done exactly that. Como were very aggressive in every duel, and Udinese was way too passive. So Roma is favorites here, and I agree with that. Hopefully we're gonna see a Roma away from home resembling the same team that plays at the Olimpico. I think that 2-2 with Bologna on Matchday 20, taking home that point in the 90th minute of the game, may have given Ranieri and Roma some confidence for La Loba to approach games on the road the same way they do it at home, and they could, why not, get the first win of the season away with Udinese. They played very good second half against Genoa last weekend to claim those 3 points against Patrick Vieira's team. 3 wins in the last 5, as you said, for them. The 6th place, which gives you European competition next season, is now 6 points away for Roma. I know Conference League is not what they want, but let's not forget how terribly this season unfolded until Ranieri came out of retirement. And Ranieri, who reiterated this week that that Roma is looking for a new coach for the summer, and this is going to be the last 5-6 months for him, and he's going back to retirement. Roma is favorite here. The odds are good, based, I believe, on that winless run away from home. I will back them. I will back Roma, but up to there, just in case this first win away from home of the season does not materialize. So for me, it's Roma draw no bet. Being away, Roma draw no bet, 1.61.
We have lower odds to back Inter in the south of Italy in Lecce. Lecce only 1 point away from the bottom 3. Lost to Cagliari 4-1 despite taking the lead. Decent numbers at home though for Lecce, but it would be a massive surprise if Inter drop points here, despite being focused also in the Champions League in these 2 weeks. Leo, they are massive favorites and they should win.
Absolutely, look, and it's 7 away consecutive wins for Inter so far, and away from home. No, I'm saying 7 consecutive wins, scoring 22 times. That is 3 per game. So yes, it shouldn't have problems with Lecce. Yesterday in the Champions League, 1-0 enough against Sparta Prague away from home. Beautiful goal from Lautaro Martinez, who scored against Empoli and now is scoring again in the Champions League. They are producing, as always, results. They are 15 games unbeaten with 12 wins. This Inter, Napoli's win over Atalanta on Saturday meant Inter could not afford to slip up against Empoli on Matchday 21. In the first half, they dominated possession, but they struggled to create chances to score. They mostly restored to shooting from distance, but then in the second half, and actually shooting from distance with Lautaro, after he scored the first one, everything was much more smooth for them. It was his 8th goal of the season, still far from reaching the 24th goal tally from last season, Lautaro Martinez. But that's what they need, to open the score, and from there was always going to be happiness for them. Dumfries is probably the player most in form for Inter. I would say yesterday he scored again, but the VAR ruled it out. He has 5 goals this Serie A and 7 in all competitions. He's so good in the air, so powerful to jump. He did it with Lazio away and also against Empoli last weekend. Marcus Thuram scoring as well. He has 13 goals this season. He's 1 behind Retegui. And Empoli is... we will see, Edu. It was a team that I fancy a lot at the beginning of the season, Empoli, 𝐿𝐵𝐺𝐵, but lately it's not... I'm sorry, Lecce. Lecce was a team that, even though they couldn't score for most of the season, especially at the beginning of the season, it was a team that I was still fancy to watch. They used to create chances to score, but now no, Edu, and the defeat with in the last weekend, it was hard for them, especially after they were coming from a 3-1 away win against Empoli. So it was hard to take that 4-1 against Cagliari. And again, they started ahead with Santiago Perotti's goal. It was the 2nd goal of the season for him. The odds on Inter, of course, are resembling like a safe bet at 1.45 for a win. Lecce have scored 11 goals only all season, although it's true 9 of those have come at home, but so far it's Inter all the way. Inter to win 2-0. For me, Edu, 2.2.
And for Sunday evening, we have Lazio Fiorentina.
Yeah.
Great game for the European spots, with Fiorentina in really bad form. They drew with Torino 6 winless games in Serie A, whereas Lazio, Leo, bounced back against Verona after 3 winless games. I guess these are 2 teams that really overperformed in the first half of the season, but still it's a great game.
Absolutely. Look, a month ago, this same fixture, Lazio Fiorentina, would have looked different, or it would have raised expectations much more. A month ago, Lazio lost 6-0 at home with Inter, and from there they collected only 8 points from the last 18. And Fiorentina lost with Bologna a month ago, and from there they counted only 2 points from 6 matches, with 4 defeats for them. For Lazio, at least, all smiles on Matchday 21. Going back to winning ways against Verona away from home and scoring 3 goals. And because of Juventus' win the day before against Milan, they needed those 3 points to get back to the 4th place in the table. It was a return to a ground that Marco Baroni, Lazio's manager, and Mattia Saccagni, Lazio's number 10, know very well. Actually, Saccagni scored one of the 3 goals against his old team. It took only 3 minutes for Lazio to break the deadlock with a header from Samuel Gigot. They're playing tonight at the Olimpico as well against Real Sociedad in Europa League, but they are top of that league stage in the competition, so they will go straight to the last 16. And for Lazio, it's a big game, not only because of Fiorentina seemed a direct rival before or just a month ago, but also because after La Viola in February, they will play, Cagliari, Venezia, and Monza. So the only half-top team they will face in February will be Napoli at home. So there is a chance for them to start cementing that 4th place, looking at the fixtures they have. Fiorentina is struggling. They could not take the advantage of Torino being reduced to 10 men for 60 minutes. Quite the contrary. For a team that in October, November, and the start of December was scoring for fun, they have just 2 goals in the last 3 games, which is not good enough. But they have, the 4th best defense in the Serie A, so we should not forget that. Away from home, no wins in the last 3 for Fiorentina. But Lazio is on a much winless run, which is at home, which is the same for them. 3 home games without winning for Lazio. So I see it closer than the bookies here, this Lazio and Fiorentina. And that's why my take is going to be double chance Fiorentina. Double chance Fiorentina, 1.77 or 1.7 to make it easier. Let's not forget that this Fiorentina in this period of being not as good as in October, November, they snatch a draw in Turin 2-2 with Juventus. So double chance Fiorentina, 1.7.
Indeed, with a great goal in the last minutes. Well, on Monday is for the relegation. First game, Venezia, Verona. Both are now in the bottom 3. Verona dropped to these spots last weekend after the defeat against Lazio. No goals in the last 3 games. And Venezia could only draw against Parma. They are now 5 points away from salvation, although they are not that bad. They are competitive. In the last 4 games, Leo, we saw under 2.5 goals in Venezia's games.
Yes, but between these two, it seems, Edu, that the last 4 encounters, they all go over 2.5 between Venezia and Verona. The reverse fixture was a 2-1 for Verona. It couldn't be more crucial and more of a 6-pointer, to be honest, this one. Venezia, with a win, will close the gap to Verona to at least 1 point, but they won't manage to leave the red zone, and Verona could broaden the gap to 7 points with Venezia, and there is a big chance they will leave the relegation zone if they win the game away from home with Venezia. As I said, they won the reverse fixtures 2-1, and they have actually won 4 of the last 6 against Venezia, and the other 2 were draws. The last 5 matches have been pretty similar in terms of results for both teams. 3 defeats and 1 win for Verona, and 2 defeats and 1 win with 2 draws in the last 5 for Venezia. Venezia at least took a point last match day with that 1-1 at the Ennio Tardini. They went ahead with a penalty score by 𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐴. He has 6 goals this season, but he's about apparently able to leave to Palermo in Serie B, which is as strange as it sounds that 𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐴 will leave now in the winter transfer market to go to Serie B. But he's 30 years old, this Finnish striker, and apparently they are offering him in Serie B with Palermo a 4.5-year contract, which Venezia could not match financially, so we will see. As I said, the last 4 derbies were all above goals over 2.5. I'm taking that route, Edu. Goals over 2.5, odds of 2.05.
And the last game is Genoa Monza. Genoa looking really good, 4 points away now from the bottom three, although the 𝐬𝐴 suffered the second defeat at the Olimpico, always against big rivals, still very competitive and still great odds to back Genoa at home. Leo is 2.3 against the bottom of the table, Monza, 7 points away now from salvation.
Yes, absolutely. It's getting very difficult for Monza. Actually, I don't know. I don't see them, like, to be honest, by April, May, they're going to be in a very different situation. Genoa suffered a comprehensive defeat with Roma at the Olimpico. Roma at home is not easy for anyone, let alone for Genoa, who they are doing much well under Patrick Vieira. They are still a team who is going to have 1 or 2 more scares, I think, in terms of the relegation battle. Not saying that April comes and they're gonna be close to the bottom three, but they are a team who cannot take too many breaks. But Monza at home offers one of those, a chance to get back to winning ways. Genoa in the last 8 won 3 and lost just 2, and Monza lost 7 of the last 8. Last Sunday they were no match for Bologna. Genoa has been reinforcing attack this week with Max Cornet, the Ivorian striker on loan from West Ham. I guess that everyone expecting he's going to be the one that did very well for Burnley in 2021, 2022, because in the last 2.5 years with West Ham, he scored only 1 goal in England in the Premier League. Monza's happiness with their win against Fiorentina lasted just a week. Bottom of the table, as we said, and 7 points away from salvation zone. But Monza has something, Edu. They usually score. Of course, not many, but they do score. For a team which is last in Serie A, that won just 2 games all season, despite that, they have scored in 15 out of 21 matches this season. And that is a lot for a team bottom of the table. And that is why I'm going both teams to score. Both teams to score, yes, 2.1.
All right, Leo, thank you for your tips and your analysis in this new match day. Remember, guys, that you can also post your tips in Oddspedia and win some good prizes thanks to our tipster competitions, or participate also with rivals and create your own custom tipster competition and play with your friends. Leo, safe bet?
Inter to win, 1.35, Edu.
And the ACCA?
The ACCA, which hopefully is going to turn out good as the last one, Edu. We said double chance Napoli, Lecce to win, Inter to win. They all materialize on match day 21. And for this match day 22, my picks for the ACCA, como Atalanta, both teams to score yes and goals over 2.5. Inter to win, Milan to win. All this leaves me with an ACCA of 5.43.
Brilliant, Leo. Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Arrivederci.